Ukrainian position is very transparent. We strive to establish all the details, every fact. That is why we need our specialists to join operations of the international investigation and to get access to all the data available to our partners and to the site of the explosion. All our information is in full access. We have been giving it to our partners since the night, since those first hours when the world began to investigate what had happened.
For more on this, we're now joined by Oxana Shevel in Medford, Massachusetts. She is an associate professor of political science at Tufts University. Professor, thank you for being with us on the program. Now, we're hearing Zelenskyy there saying that Ukraine needs to be in on this investigation. Why do you think Zelenskyy is insisting on being part of this investigation when it's being conducted by his allies?
Well, I don't think it's an unreasonable request, right? If now the information is emerging that it was Ukrainian air defense missile that accidentally ended up in Poland, it would make sense, it seems to me, for Ukrainians to be involved, just to know, for example, if there was a malfunction, what kind of malfunction it was. And in general, I think to minimize any kind of provocative statements from Russia, which, as your correspondent was quoting Nebezhnya, who's saying Ukraine fired that missile at Poland deliberately. So I think the fact that Ukrainians are requesting that their officials and military experts are part of the investigation makes sense to me.
What do you make of NATO's assessment of it being an accident when Ukraine insists that it wasn't their missile?
Yes, I think, again, if the evidence points out through the investigation and the information that NATO allies are collecting that it was indeed Ukrainian missile, that was shot to intercept a Russian missile. I understand there was an energy infrastructure installation just a few kilometers in western Ukraine near the Polish border, so which was very likely the target of Russian attack. Perhaps Ukrainians should have waited, insisting that it was definitely not the Ukrainian missile. But again, the broader, fact of the matter remains that if Russia was not targeting Ukrainian infrastructure and in general has not invaded Ukraine, Ukrainians would not be shooting air defense, right? And then this accident and this tragedy in Poland wouldn't have happened. So again, there are many layers, it seems, to this situation, like why a particular missile was either malfunctioned or, its coordinates didn't work. But the broader, I think, guilt for this definitely lies with Russia.
Right, and that's the exact kind of sentiment that we heard from Jens Stoltenberg. And this goes to show that at any given moment, the war in Ukraine can spill over its borders. How prepared should neighboring countries like Poland be?
I think the neighboring countries not only should be prepared, because it just, again, in a military situation, when many missiles are fired, many high-tech weapons, it's inevitable that there are some malfunction, of this technology. So it's one could say it was only a matter of time before something like this happened, and it's quite possible. The more this war goes on, the more likely that, again, another accident may happen, and maybe next time it would be, say, a Russian missile would lose its coordinates and end up in a NATO country. So I think the West should not only prepare, but I think should probably double its efforts, I would say, to help Ukraine to end this war, the sooner the better. So I think the conclusions that we should draw from this incident are that there should be even greater support for Ukraine, more advanced air defense systems. There is some conversation now that I've heard happening, potentially no-fly zone, at least over Western Ukraine. That seems to be, just a suggestion. But I think the West should not be just preparing, but actively doubling the efforts to bring this war to the end.
All right, Oxana Shevel, thank you so much for joining us here on TR2 World and sharing that analysis with us.